Go to hell! Sorry, I've been literally spending the last 25 minutes doing puns on the name Hel. It's the best name company in the UK. We are here today at the Hel HQ down in the southwest of the UK because, exciting news, they've come in as a supporter of Bike World, which we're always super grateful for, but particularly with these guys because I've actually had a relationship with Hel Brake Lines and with Simon, the boss here, for a million years, I think. Back when I used to race, did you know I used to race? Simon actually helped me out when I was down on my luck, had no money. He stepped in and got me a ride and kept my race career going for a few more years. So I've always had that gratitude for him for that. But it wasn't just me. He was helping young racers, old racers, people throughout the paddock, all over the place. And the same went on with the car world and Ben. So I've always liked the company as a company that give product and support first and ask questions afterwards. And to now come full circle, having used their products all these years and to be partnered up with Hel with Bike World is a dream come true. So we are gonna go and have a look around the toy shop today, go and look at where they make brake calipers, brake lines, fittings, exciting master cylinders, thumb brakes, all the kit they do, which they make here. It's a very, very British based company. There's a machine shop, there's a tool shop, there's a stamping shop, there's a packaging shop. It's done here. And quite apart from anything else, it's nice to have that little cottage industry here in the UK. So we're gonna have a mooch round, see some shiny bits, and then hopefully find some fancy products to fit onto our long-term project Yamaha R9. Let's check it out. So with us now is Mr. Hel, the man who invented the opportunity for all these puns, the terrible go to hell puns.
True.
But Simon, dude, thanks for having us.
No worries, mate, anytime.
We were just chatting about that year in Superstock thousands where I pinched a set of your leathers and you got me on a race bike.
Squeezed into them.
In the wrong leathers.
Look very good. Look, not breathing, you're going to be all right, you'll be fine. Yeah.
But you know, obviously you've started up Hel, you've got this pretty big company now, still all based in the UK, doing brake lines, moving out into more products like levers, master cylinders, rear master cylinders, thumb brakes, hand brakes, calipers. Where did this all come from? What started the business for you?
We started back in like 96, 97, and we were a hydraulics company because my dad had always been involved in hydraulics, so hydraulic hoses for tractors, trailers, bigger stuff. But from as early as I can remember, I've loved motorbikes, and motorbikes go back in our family. We've always been around bikes. My dad's uncle had an old BSA that used to fly out of a little garage opposite. We've always had bikes around us, so that was my real passion. I just loved motorcycles. So if I could make hydraulic hoses, but make them into brake hoses, I thought there's a bit of, there's a synergy between the two things that I had some knowledge on. Didn't want to go into hydraulics, tractors and trailers, didn't interest me, but motorbikes I loved. So my first bike at 16, so by the time I get to 25-ish, we had this opportunity at Hose Equip. Bought Hose Equip, a hydraulics company, supplied some other brake line manufacturers in the UK, so I had a little bit of a bit of knowledge. Then went there and thought, well, every hydraulic hose that's ever been made that I've seen has been swaged on the end, so it's crimped on. And the MOT at the time actually said that all brake line fittings should be permanently attached. So we thought we could do something with this and get it going. Started off, swage system onto stainless steel braided hose. We were told by the competition that we'd be dead in 6 months, gone, no one would do it. And some 30 odd years later, we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And the benefit for us is that everyone else in the industry has gone the same way. So the reusables are pretty much dead. You don't get mild steel fittings. You don't really get aluminium so much these days. Everyone's doing stainless steel fittings because it's the best you can get on it, on a stainless steel hose. Over-specified for what they're used for. Used in MotoGP on the Aprilias, World Superbikes, Yamaha, BMW, British Superbikes, pretty much everyone. So they test Isle of Man TT, Northwest 200. They're tested at the most rigorous conditions so that when we sell them for someone on the road, we know that they are more than capable of doing what you need on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. So that was where like the passion started. But the main thing for me was always that I wanted to make as much as I could in the UK. So whereas other companies buy in from abroad or buy in from other places, we wanted to actually manufacture it, and that was the big thing for me. So we started, I don't know, I've known you forever, so you must have been around when we started out getting machines in. We had our first 4-star sliding head machines. We bought them for second hand from a company called Pitney Bowes who make printers, and these things had been smashed, nailed. But it started us off, it proved that the concept worked, and then we bought new machines. So we've now got 18 star CNCs running 24/7, cutting millions of fittings a year, and they're all made right here in the UK.
So yeah, so that was one of the things we walked around earlier. The fittings are made here, the hoses are made here. everything's assembled here,
Yep.
packaged here, posted out. Is there much that's not made here?
We have to buy bits in, but like hoses are manufactured in the UK or EU, so that's the only other bit. But all the other, our mainline stainless steel fittings, they're all manufactured here, all cut here, then assembled, like you say, upstairs. We got pressure test facilities, weird stuff, salt spray test machines, whiplash test machines to check that the hoses meet with DOT regulations. So we've built that up over time, tensile testing machines, all sorts of weirdness that goes into it that we know that what we send out is the very best that we can provide, and it's the very best that someone could get. Tested to destruction here, tested at the TT. I mean, anyone setting off down Braille at 170 mile an hour for everything, they want their brakes to work, and that's one of our proudest things. There's so many other companies that shy away from stuff like that because it's a bit like, but that's actually where we need to be. That's where it needs to be safest. That's where it needs to be controlled. That's where you need to have this mutual respect for the rider and for the producer of the product, and you talk to each other and you can make new things. And it was from that we actually started thinking about hard parts, because Darren, which is Peter Hickman's team boss, he came to us saying, would you be able to make us a finger brake and a thumb brake for his TT bike? So we probably could. Might have to have different machinery. We dabbled with calipers a bit, dabbled with bits and bobs. We thought we could do this. Made one, got it out there, rode it at the TT, did phenomenally well, as he always does, Hickey at the TT. And that started us off on this other route of we could actually manufacture calipers. We can make our own master cylinders. We can, because we make everything in-house, someone comes back and says, oh, have you thought about changing this? Or could you just move that port around 5 degrees? Or why has it got to be M10? We could do all those things because we were actually doing it here. Yeah, and you've had a look around, and the milling machines down there with the robot loaders and stuff, just putting billets of aluminium in, and these, I don't know how they do it, it's black magic, I think, but they create these beautiful objects for us that you can see behind in the displays. It's remarkable on a daily basis. I see how we've grown, and it was me and Chris upstairs all those years ago when you were first knocking around with us. Yeah. 2 of us, and we've grown. There's 40 of us on site here now. Got a few people out and about. Got the lorry that goes to all the BSB races. We've got over 90 distributors around the world in 90 different countries. So we've got Hel Performance Poland and Hel Performance Germany, and that's really just spread the name. And we've done it all really on people liking us. Yeah. It's a weird one. Like you were saying earlier, when you were saying like struggled at the start and at the Triumph Triple Challenge, needed someone to help out, and knew us. We can help you out. That's perfect match for us. You know, we can help you out, and we can get a bit of feedback and positivity, or what about this from you. That works. But it's the little things that have allowed us to become the big thing that we are. But we've always been one of those people that look after our customers. I think that's what's driven us forward. It's just like nothing's too much hassle. Someone sends a hose back and says it's 5 millimeters too long. Any other company would go 5 mil, mate. It doesn't even matter. But it does, because it's your bike and it's your property, and you want it to feel right and look right, and we'll change it. It's no issues. We send it back out the door free of charge, and everyone's happy, and that's the name of the game.
I mean, you mentioned the race and stuff there. Like we were chatting before about, for you, obviously you want to it's great to have a successful company and make money, but actually it's the stuff you get to do, the racing, the involvement with teams and people. Has that always been a part of what you wanted to achieve with Hel, is to get access into that race world and be a part of it?
It was access to that race world for the feedback to tell us what we needed to do with our hoses. Early days we had to design, or a big team came to us, they'd had an issue with brake hoses, and their hoses had so many joints in them that they were leaking, but they didn't know where or what. So we designed these mini T-piece and a mini elbow, which has become standard anywhere from everywhere.
I mean, everyone does it, but
little tiny little. And it was really neat and cool, and it wasn't done for like, we're going to make loads of money from this, because actually everyone else has done exactly the same as us. Yeah. So everyone else is making a load of money as well, which is brilliant, but it made it safer, made it a much better product for the customer. Looks beautiful on the front, it's all neat and tidy, and it's held in place. That was the main driving force for going into the BSB paddock. They've looked after us brilliantly well, so we get signage around, we get access to all of these riders, we take the lorry up there so that they've got access to our products as they need them. So if there's a crash, they can have brand new brake hoses. We don't want them going out on second-hand or crashed brake hoses. If they change positions of anything on the handlebars, we can make them a new kit. It's about giving them the tools they need to put on the best show on the best domestic championship for sure. But more than that, it was this thought that when I started, 96, I mean, that's 30 years ago, I didn't know where we'd get to. Now, the older I get, I look back on the fact of all these little things we've helped out, and we've helped riders, and we've kept them in championships, and they've grown and they've flourished, and they've gone on to other championships or gone abroad to ride. It's kept the industry alive, and that's what we need to do at the moment. You know, motorcycling is getting quite an older group that like motorcycling now, and we need to repopulate with that younger people. When I was a kid, I didn't want anything else but to jump on a motorbike. My first bike was a Honda MT5, which I don't know if you could call a motorbike, but it was to me, and it was wicked, it was great, and it did 28 miles an hour, even if I was really wringing its neck. It was that bug that I just don't think young people get anymore, and that's the bit that we're really glad about, that we did all these things years ago just to help these people come on, and we need to do that again to get that new blood, that fresh blood coming through, because once you ride a bike, it's just nothing else like it.
It's the best thing ever.
It is the best
absolutely
thing.
is.
Best thing you do with your clothes on.
Well, yeah, I still think I'm better at motorbikes than the other things, so
Especially the fit.
I'll stick with motorbikes.
Really tight levels.
Hey, Simon, we're going to have a little look around and check out some of the stuff here.
Absolutely,
thanks for taking the time to talk
Pleasure.
to us.
Always good to see you,
and
mate.
thanks for coming on board. It's awesome to have Hel, be back working with Hel again after
That's
all
lovely.
these
We should have
years.
done it years ago, and it's just life gets in the way of stuff, and you're so busy, you become busy fools almost.
Yeah.
And then you take stock and you see what the things that are really important to you are, and then you go with that, and it's just good vibes, and it works, mate.
Love it. Nice one, dude.
Nice one. Thanks, man.
Now, the plan was to come down here, have a look around, check out the kind of production stuff, and then fit some shiny bits to the R9. However, I kind of got thinking, and what we're instead going to do is going to take a few bits away and do some experimenting, because I want to run a handbrake on the R9. It's a weird thing that with all the MotoGP technology filtering down into road bikes, we've never yet seen a road bike come out with either a thumb brake or a handbrake. Even at the highest special, you know, fancy special editions, there doesn't seem to be anything coming out with a thumb and a handbrake. And actually, if you look at pretty much every MotoGP bike, pretty much every World Superbike, pretty much every BSB bike, they're using a handlebar mounted back brake one way or another. So what I'm going to try and do is using this, this is the Hel thumb brake master cylinder for the rear brake. They've got one of them. They've also got the handbrake option if you want to use that and move the clutch lever up. And also this little gadget, which is a rear brake master cylinder with 2 ports on it. So I can put one to my rear caliper, and then one goes up to him, and then the rest of it goes back into the system. So I'm going to try and run a thumb brake or a handbrake with the standard ABS system on the R9. I want to see if it's possible. Hel, like I said, their stuff's developed as a race product. It's racing equipment, the calipers and the levers. So they've not tried one on a fully ABS bike yet. So they've said, get the bits on, give it a go. In theory, it should work. The ABS system shouldn't know the difference between me pulling a brake with my hand or pushing it with my foot, but it's down to me to test that out. So we're going to take a little pile of assorted bits down with us, get into the workshop, get the R9 up on the bench, and see if I can make a road bike with a thumb brake or a handbrake, and then learn to use the back brake more effectively on the track when riding past, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. So we're going to take a box of shiny bits, get in the workshop, get covered in brake fluid and grease, and see what we can make work.